For as long as humans have told stories, the past has never been empty. It has been crowded with giants, monsters, beasts so powerful that they shaped fear itself. Ancient people didn't imagine a quiet world before civilization. They remembered a dangerous one, a world where the ground shook under heavy footsteps, where forests hid enormous silhouettes, and where the ocean belonged to something far larger than any human vessel. Modern science calls these stories myths, but archaeology keeps telling a different story, one where legends weren't born from fantasy, but from survival. Tonight, we're counting down 12 mythical ancient creatures that really existed, not symbols, not exaggerations, but real animals whose presence would have felt supernatural to the humans who lived beside them. And as we move closer to number 1, the truth becomes harder to dismiss. At number 12, we begin deep in ancient forests, where legends spoke of towering guardians, creatures that moved slowly, claimed entire territories, and stood upright like something half-human. For centuries, these stories were thought to be spiritual metaphors, until fossils revealed giant ground sloths. These animals were the size of elephants. When they stood upright, they towered over humans, supported by massive tails and armed with claws longer than knives. They weren't fast, but they didn't need to be. Their sheer size made them untouchable. Some species used caves and dense forests as territory, leaving behind marks and remains that would have terrified early people. When humans encountered their silhouettes in the fog, the line between animal and monster vanished, and one mystery still haunts researchers. Did humans actually witness their extinction, watching legends die in real time? At number 11, the myths grow darker. Across ancient cultures, massive wolves appear again and again, not ordinary animals, but symbols of war, death, and the underworld. These stories may have been inspired by dire wolves. Dire wolves were larger, heavier, and more powerful than modern wolves. Their jaws were built to crush bone. They hunted massive prey, bison, horses, even young mammoths. This wasn't an animal you scared away. This was an apex predator that dominated entire landscapes. Humans didn't rule the Ice Age. They survived it. And when a pack of dire wolves appeared on the horizon, survival meant fire, numbers, or luck. The unanswered question is chilling. Just how often did humans lock eyes with these beasts? Number 10 brings us to one of the most famous myths of all time, the unicorn, a peaceful, one-horned creature said to roam ancient lands. But behind the fairy tale hides something far more imposing, a lasmatherium. This was not a delicate animal. It was a massive, prehistoric rhino towering over humans with a single enormous horn that may have stretched several feet long. Fossil evidence suggests it survived far longer than once believed, overlapping with early humans. Imagine encountering a creature like this on the open steppe. One horn, one charge, one chance to run. Over generations, sightings turned into stories. Stories turned into legend, and the mystery remains. Were unicorn myths based on eyewitness accounts? At number 9, we step into the caves of Ice Age Europe. Ancient paintings show lions, but not the lions we know today. These had no manes. They were larger, more muscular, more dangerous. Cave lions. These predators dominated Europe and Asia, hunting bison, horses, and deer with terrifying efficiency. Humans painted them not as decoration, but as memory. These weren't imagined beasts. They were neighbors, rivals, killers. Every brushstroke on a cave wall may have been a warning to the next generation. And we still don't know how close these encounters truly were. How many ended in blood? At number 8, the creature doesn't stalk the land. It coils around it. Titanoboa, over 40 feet long, heavier than a car. Titanoboa was the largest snake ever discovered. It lived in a world far hotter than today, where reptiles could grow without limit. Its strength came not from venom, but from pressure. Once it wrapped around prey, escape was impossible. Serpent myths exist on every continent for a reason. Fear of constriction is ancient, and the lingering question is unsettling. If Earth's climate shifted again, could giants like this return? At number 7, the ground itself becomes dangerous. Ancient stories speak of massive bears that could outrun anything, stand taller than men, and kill without effort. These weren't exaggerations. They were short-faced bears. When standing upright, these animals towered over modern bears. Their long limbs suggest speed, possibly faster than a horse over short distances. Even their footprints would have inspired panic. Humans didn't hunt these bears. They avoided them. Whether humans were prey or competition remains unknown. But one thing is certain. Encountering one would have felt like meeting death itself. At number 6, we reach a creature everyone knows, but few truly understand. Woolly mammoths were not distant prehistoric relics. They lived alongside humans for thousands of years. Humans hunted them, painted them, built tools from their bones. Some populations survived until just 4,000 years ago, long after the pyramids were built. Their tusks and skeletons were found centuries later, fueling legends of giant earth beasts. and the mystery still lingers. Could isolated groups have survived even longer, unseen? At number 5, we travel to ancient Australia, where oral traditions speak of land dragons, massive reptiles that ruled the continent. Science later gave them a name, Megalania. This giant monitor lizard stretched over 20 feet long. It likely carried venom and sat at the top of the food chain. Humans arriving in Australia didn't enter a peaceful land. They stepped into the territory of a monster. Aboriginal stories may not be metaphor, they may be memory. And the question remains, just how accurate are ancient oral traditions? At number 4, the myths turn majestic. Across ancient Europe, stories spoke of sacred deer with impossible antlers, forest gods, symbols of power. These legends may trace back to the giant Irish elk. Its antlers stretched wider than a car, branching into a structure that looked designed rather than evolved. These animals roamed vast areas, and their remains were found long after extinction, inspiring ritual and reverence. Whether human hunting contributed to their downfall is still debated, but the mystery endures. Did ritual hunting play a role in turning animal into myth? At number 3, we encounter something that shouldn't exist at all, a flying creature taller than a giraffe, Quetzalcoatlus. It walked on land, hunted prey, then unfolded wings wider than most houses and took to the air. No modern animal comes close. To ancient humans, this wouldn't have been an animal. It would have been a god, a dragon, a sky ruler, and the haunting question remains, did humans ever witness the last of them? Before we reach the final 2, take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. These stories survive because people choose to listen. And what comes next challenges everything we think we know about our past. At number 2, the legend isn't a beast at all. It's us, or something very close. Across cultures, stories speak of little people, forest spirits, small humanoid beings living just beyond civilization. Science uncovered Homo floresiensis, adult humans under 4 feet tall, a distinct species. They hunted, used tools, and lived alongside modern humans. Island dwarfism shaped them, but memory preserved them. Legends didn't invent them. They remembered them, and the mystery remains unresolved. How long did they truly survive? And finally, at number 1, the creature that seals the truth. Dragons weren't born of imagination. They were born of the sea, Mosasaurus. This apex predator stretched nearly 50 feet long, ruled prehistoric oceans, and possessed a crushing bite and high intelligence. Ancient sailors didn't need fire-breathing monsters to inspire fear. They needed waves to rise and something enormous to surface beneath them. If dragons existed, they didn't fly, they swam. And the final question still echoes through the depths. Did ancient sailors ever see survivors? Because myths don't appear without reason. They appear when something real leaves a shadow too large to forget.